the cheapest arrows on Amazon that I could find that looked like not hot garbage. These are about 15 bucks an arrow shaft, and these are about $3 an arrow shaft. Granted, this one has a nock, comes fletched, and has an insert already in it. And this one you have to cut, put your own veins, wrap, it comes with an insert, but put all your own stuff in. This one comes with kind of everything. The cheap arrow that we're testing today is the Shero Azure Dragon Carbon 6.2 300 spine arrow from Amazon, and it's $40 a dozen. It comes with the inserts already glued in and the veins already glued on. Now, I was a little bit disappointed by that. I like buying my arrow shafts with no veins and with no inserts in them, because one thing you can do to get a straighter arrow is cut it down to your length. As you can see here, that's like 6 inches. So it's got like a 3-inch difference in length, and that's an extra 3 inches that arrow shaft could deviate in straightness. So step one is going to be cutting them down, which I've done to a few here. I've cut 4 of them down to my length. As you can see, that these should all be the same exact length. So now that these are shorter, they should spin straighter, and I put the same fletchings that were on them, the boning blazers. The only difference now is going to be the weight difference, and I've switched out the typical 125 grains that I run on the front of this for 100 grain, because the spine of this arrow is a lot lighter than the spine of this arrow. I'm going to use an arrow scale, and we're going to weigh the 2 arrows and see what the differences are. And we're going to weigh this Rip TKO first. 417 grains. 336, so almost 100 grain difference. We're just going to start by shooting a group of 3 of these arrows and a group of 3 of these arrows at 40 and then maybe 60 and then 80 yards, and seeing how good of a group we can actually get. 30 yards. I'm going to aim at the same exact point for each arrow. And reminder that the green nocks are the cheap arrows, yellow nocks are the expensive ones. Green nocks, I would imagine, are going to group a little bit higher, not much at 30 yards, but they are quite a bit lighter arrows. So let's shoot a group and see how they do. 30 yards. Okay, expensive arrows. Okay. How did they do? And so a reminder, I did put new field points on. I was shooting 125 grain field points on the Rip TKOs. Now I'm shooting 100 just to try to get these arrows a little bit closer in weight. And I haven't redone my sight tape to that, so we're just kind of seeing how they go. I'm gonna back up to 60 yards and see how they fly now. I'm gonna shoot the Rip TKOs first this time. Dial to 60, and I do fully expect them to hit high, but I'm just shooting for groups right now. My sight is not dialed for either of these arrows. So I'm going to dial 60. Those are quite a bit higher. I'm actually going to use my 50-yard pin. I'm going to dial back to 50 because these ones are over 100 grains lighter than what my sight tape is currently made for. So cheap arrows, 60 yards. Huh. Pretty similar size group between the two. Let's back up to 80 and see how these do. I'm gonna shoot the same black dot, starting with the expensive arrows. Yeah, I had one that broke funny. I did not like that, but we'll call that an outlier. I might shoot 2 groups from back here just to really make sure. Okay, cheap arrows, 80 yards. Those felt great. I think those grouped really good. 80-yard group. I actually dialed to 70 for these guys. Aiming down here, I mean, all 3 of these shots felt perfect. I know which shot this one was. I had a weird break, so I'm gonna shoot another group just to compare, but I am insanely impressed with these arrows grouping this tight at 80 yards. Okay, Cheap arrows first. These things seriously impress me. That one did not break good. I don't know if I'm like, maybe I'm putting too much mental pressure on myself to try to shoot these ones really good, because they should be better than the cheap ones because they're expensive. And I like these arrows. Okay. Let's go see. I'm not gonna look at it with the binos. Just wanna go see what they look like, the groups look like. Let's go. I don't know. I really like Victor arrows. I've shot them for 2 years now. I've shot Easton. I like both of them. They make great arrows, but they're expensive. And I'd rather spend more money on gas going hunting than arrows just getting ready to go hunting, if that makes sense. That's my personal view on it. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll hunt with these arrows because I haven't tested them with broadheads on them, and that's a big thing, is how they fly with broadheads. That's when straightness really matters, especially if you're shooting fixed blades. But I shoot mechanicals. I don't know. I'm like kind of excited about these arrows. I might do a series on them, like doing more stuff with them. So if there's more stuff you want to see with these arrows, let me know. Okay, I know which one that broke bad on that. Oh my gosh, my camera's heavy. My shoulders are tired. I did some adjusting for my sight, and I got them closer to where I wanted to hit. About 80 yards. I mean, I can fit my hand on that. I cannot quite get my hand around these. This one broke weird. I think if this one would have broke better, it would have been a tighter group than these guys, but these are holding their own. Granted, veins have been coming off. I'm gonna do a durability test, and then I also want to do a broadhead test, shooting a big fixed blade on the front and see how they fly, because that's where the straightness is really gonna play more of a role in predicting the flight. When you don't have a big fixed blade on the front, it doesn't matter as much. So kind of excited. I'm a little bit sad, but kind of excited to shoot the dirt. Expensive arrow, durability test 1. Yep, that sounded like a rock. This one I don't care as much about. This arrow is only $3 versus $15, which is why I like it. Cheap arrow, durability test 1. That sounds like solid ground. Okay, you can very clearly see they are not in a target. This is not what you're meant to shoot arrows into. But so far, that sounds no issues with that one. No issues with that one. No visible damage. This one definitely hit a rock. So did this one. I can see just on the tips. The tips are pretty messed up for the field points. So let's shoot them into the gravel now, I guess. Arrow durability test 2, shooting it into gravel. Ooh, the knock got pushed out on this one a little bit. Well, it skipped up into underneath the dinosaur. And let's see how the cheap one does. This one lost its knock and 2 of its veins, but I've had issues with the veins not sticking. This one, I can tell that is a bent component. So let's go spin these and see how bad they are. Well, actually, I don't hear nothing. And as far as the shafts go, I think the shafts are both pretty intact. Oh, wow, okay. Well, that's a way to get your components out if you want to build your own. Well, let's put it back in there, and I'll re-glue it in. Let's go spin them. Now, I'm taking a unshot field point. So this is a field point I'm going to use. It'll let me see how bent they are better than using the field point. Because like this is the one you can see, this one hit a rock. So you can see that there's quite a bit of damage there, and it wouldn't be as easy to tell the spinning. That's impressive to me. And I'm going to take this field point out, put it in this one. Yep, that definitely wobbles. Definitely some wobble in that guy. Now, I would almost say that the durability test was more of a test of the components used than the arrows themselves. The shaft of that arrow might be a lot stronger than the shaft of this arrow as far as bending and whatnot, but I am impressed with the ability for the component to hold up to some torture like that. So far, these things are exceptionally impressive arrows for their price. One last test is going to be the broadhead test, and seeing how accurate these arrows are with broadheads on. And I haven't broadhead tuned my bow, but the biggest thing is going to be when you have a unstraight arrow and you put a big fixed blade broadhead on the front of it, that amplifies any inconsistencies. I always recommend shooting your broadhead first when you're broadhead testing, and then the field point second. That way you don't slice your arrow in half. I have done that before. So 40 yards, broadhead test, shooting the broadhead first, aiming at that bottom left black dot. This test should show the imperfections in the straightness of the arrow. And when you put a big fixed blade broadhead on the front of it, it's just going to amplify any of that. So this is 40 yards, which is a pretty reasonable distance to see how these broadheads fly. The 60-yard propane tank to see how these fly. Aiming at the bottom left black dot again. Broadhead first. I don't even have words. That's just insane. So, broadhead, I can just see how by it cut the paper. Field point. I have not gone through and shot broadheads and moved. I rest up and down. I haven't done all that. I'm just shooting this. So this is a broadhead that I know flies pretty decent. I'm so impressed by the left to right. I'm gonna shoot it again at 60, but I'm freaking blown away by these arrows right now. What I was looking for is inconsistent flight, but I'm seeing that it's a little bit off to the right and it's been above it every single time. If you're just getting into archery, I would highly recommend checking out these arrows as they come completely pre-made. They're probably going to be a little bit long unless you have a super long draw length, but for starting out and just practicing getting in your reps, you can't go wrong. You can lose them and break them and it's not detrimental to your wallet. That's why I like them. And then once you get more into it, yeah, it might be worth upgrading arrows and buying something that you have more confidence in. I don't necessarily know that I would go hunting with these arrows unless I spent a lot more time shooting them and went through each one by one and hand-picked 6 out of maybe 2 dozen that were within the same grain tolerance and the same straightness and tune my bow to those ones versus the rest of them. Because there's a lot of inconsistencies in these arrows and you're just getting way more consistent arrows out of these ones. But with a well-tuned bow and with good form, both are going to shoot great. Yeah, all that to say, go shoot your bow more. So thank you for watching. I'm going to be doing more videos like this in the future, kind of talking about archery gear, what I do. Yeah, most likely nobody's watching this far, so I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But thank you.